Hi, Ted Barsley with Alamo Piano Galleries.
And my name is Daniel Voeller, and I got to play both of these pianos today, and I'm going to tell you all what I think about them.
Stick around. It's going to be great. Hi, this is Ted Barsley with Alamo Piano Galleries, and today, fortunate enough, Daniel Voeller is back with us. He's going to play not just the true hybrid that we left out of the last video, but also a comparable upright piano that is a true acoustic. They're both uprights, and we're going to have a chat. However, he's going to tell us everything he thinks about these and what are the differences, and then I'm going to question him about if you had the practice, if you had the cram, you had to do this, which one would you really want? And so, Daniel, what did you think? And which one did you play first?
I played the hybrid first. That was the first one I played. And
you played it last week, but you didn't review it. What were your thoughts?
yeah, well, ever since playing it last week, I was like, this is probably one of the best uprights I've ever played. I didn't actually know anything about hybrid pianos really before you kind of told me about them.
Beautiful.
But it was definitely very comparable to a true acoustic piano in a lot of ways. Yeah, I can definitely see if someone really wanted to, plug their piano in, they wanted to put on headphones, but they also wanted that acoustic kind of feel, then this would be a great option for someone like that.
And you didn't play the top of the lineup, right? And but you did play a K15 Kawai, and supposedly the actions are, comparable. Tell me what you thought about how this one played.
Yeah, well, I really liked it a lot. It was actually really fun just playing it with the face off, so I could see everything. It was also obviously louder, right, with the face off, so that definitely made a difference. So if you're somebody who really just wants to kind of feel that traditional acoustic piano kind of vibe, then I would definitely get an acoustic piano. I think, and a lot of other pianists think, no electric piano is actually ever going to be quite the same as an acoustic, right? But if you want the best of both worlds, that's why there's hybrid pianos, right? You get the electric and the acoustic all in one.
Right. I have a couple things that we had talked about right before we shot the sequence, and I talked about that fallback where the keys, but and in that conversation, and what we're talking about is you press as lightly as you can on the key. As the hammer slowly approaches the string, you'll see the hammer drop back, but the key on the other end and the action keep going forward and it drops back. That fallback is the same across the keyboard regardless of the weights of the hammers. And see, I had you hold each one of those so you can see. And so part of the technique in playing on a true acoustic, whether it's an upright or a grand, is that the hammers way different.
Yeah.
And so on the bottom end of the piano, the keys are a lot heavier. And so I tell a lot of students, I said, I know this isn't gonna work good, but you're asking me, you wanna build up strength, you wanna build up this dexterity and speed. Just do the Hannon down here.
Yeah.
Only go up half an octave and come back. Just go up to the one turner and come back. So you're always lifting the heavier keys. It's really effective on a grand piano. But who wants to listen to that? You know what I mean? Because it's so overpowering, the guy doing it or the person doing it gets exhausted after a while. But what I wanted to point out, and this is, I'd like to think that Daniel found this interesting, is when you step over to the NV5, you can't see the action because they have it closed in, but it feels exactly the same on the keyboard because it is exactly the same, with the exception that instead of having one of these in there, they have a little, like a fishing weight made out of lead, and they do start off bigger and they get smaller inside of here. Does that make a difference to you? Could you notice that?
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with you. If you're gonna play a bunch of low keys, you don't want to explode your ears, right? So if you want to practice playing those low keys so you can get that strength and dexterity and stuff that you were talking about, I can definitely see that would be very helpful, right, to do it on a hybrid.
And then there's the opposite of that, which is you're playing this piece great, but you're really pounding it on the high end. Remember, this is supposed to be light touch, feather touch, blah, blah, blah. So besides using the soft pedal, I want you to practice your handing on the top 2 octaves all week and see how light you can come in and play just 1 octave up and down a handing on the top end, because that's the complete opposite of what they tell you in the handing instructions. Lift fingers high, dexterity, go up here and see if you can light touches, and maybe not lean over, but just get there and work on that light touch, because that kind of light touch on the top becomes useful everywhere on the piano. And with that, wait till you hear. He's going to compare both of these. We're going to have a listen test. Daniel, that playing, hey, this is where I'm trying to work on where this guy plays everything on the channel from now on. Phenomenal playing, man, just awesome.
Thanks.
And when I first heard you, I really didn't think it was this piano playing. I thought it was Josh testing the demo where it plays all the classical stuff. I thought, man, he's not here yet. It's like, no, I came upstairs like, he's playing. Phenomenal playing on both instruments. Tell them your comments. I'm speechless. First, you started here, so tell them what you thought about playing on this one.
Well, it was actually my first time ever playing a hybrid piano. As far as I know, I might have played an acoustic before and thought it was I might have played one before and thought it was an acoustic, right? But it was definitely very fun. I'd love to play it more sometime. Like, it just seems like an instrument that's just kind of fun to play. You know?
Did you get a chance to try it with the headphones on?
No, I didn't.
Okay, look, so you still need to get the full tour, not just playing and not just demonstrating for others.
Okay.
On the full tour, we'll get you some headphones. You can sit here and go through it, and don't listen to pianos. Do the electric piano, do the organ, do the drum beat, get you a drum beat, get you a bass, and jam on it, and just no one will know. That's the beauty of this instrument, is that you can practice for hours on end. So, and in headphones, and no one knows that. Is he getting better, or is he just like entertaining himself? How did you feel playing some of the more complicated classical pieces on basically the entry line, one of the lower line Kawai? They're still great pianos, but what's your opinion on it?
Well, most of my experience playing uprights is really old ones that have not been taken care of too much. So it's really fun to actually play one that's kept in good condition. You know what I mean?
Well, it's brand new. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the other
yeah,
thing
yeah.
too. When you play one brand new, it's like, man, this is leaps and bounds over all the ones I play. And how can I tell them to buy a new one?
It's a lot easier to play, definitely. Like you have like more consistency, I guess, across all the keys versus older ones that aren't kept in as good of condition, I guess,
I also noticed that when you play, I'm absolutely in love with your dynamics. Easier, harder, same, different?
When I was playing the list piece, that's obviously has a lot more broad range of dynamics. But I was actually experimenting with the hybrid during the Bach. I was saying, like, how much quiet can I play this section, right? And the range of different dynamics you can get is really good, I'd say. Yeah.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned that, because you talk about the power, and then you talked about how soft you can play on the Bach. That's where limitations of every single digital piano comes in.
Yeah.
You can make nearly inaudible sounds and painful sounds off of an acoustic piano. You can just make painful sounds easily, but those really soft, true acoustic instrument sounds is right where the digital and the acoustic come, where identifiable as far as a difference.
Absolutely, yeah. And while I was playing quiet on there, I'm being totally honest. Like, I was like, I cannot believe this is an electric. Like, how quiet I can play versus how loud I was just playing. It doesn't sound like an electric to me.
It doesn't, and part of that reason is that the electrics you're playing, they generally have like 3 volumes.
Yeah.
No matter how you play it, you're getting one of 3.
Yeah.
It's limitless kind of difference in the volume and in how the information is translated and played. And then there was something else I was going to talk about with this, and I guess we'll have to save that for the next video, yeah?
Yeah.
But I want to ask you a question. I'm going to say something. If you're going to sit down, this is what I love about digital pianos. And now that they've become almost like acoustic pianos, it's almost miraculous. When you're learning a piece of music, I know for a fact you have to spend a lot of time alone memorizing it before you can practice it. I mean, you really got to get a feel for how it's going. This goes from instructions to reminder, just as and then when you have it in memory, you can really focus on performance, nailing all the dynamics, all the soft parts and everything. I think that's what these hybrid pianos are perfect for. Yeah. Because no one hears your mistakes, and you're going to make them. All right? No one hears your mistakes, and you're going to make them. Everyone does. Now, on here, the whole house is hearing.
Yep.
And so you're tending to what? Stop sooner, because you're bothering people. And it's your family.
Yep.
Okay, sometimes they're begging you to stop. And so with that, in terms of studying, And it's like, here's your requirement for this semester, and you're in a dorm room. Don't make too much noise. You get thrown out. You're almost having to play something like this.
Absolutely.
And at a certain level, without it, you can't function. Unless you're going to the auditorium or you're going someplace else where no one's listening and you're not bothering anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have the ability to just play as loud as you want with nobody being bothered, then sure, play an acoustic. But that's not most people, right? Most people have other people who will hear them and hear their mistakes. So.
Well, that's why I'm so in love with digital pianos, and I bought one of the very first ones that hit the market, and I did not buy it for sound quality. It played a lot like a real piano. It sounded a lot like a real piano, and in the headphones, to me, it functioned as a real piano. And I did all my scales hand and memorized pieces and stuff, and I just thought it was great. I was sold on the concept. Yeah. Because I grew up in a household with a lot of people and a dog, and they all complained. So with that, if you want to come in and play a hybrid and compare it to a true upright acoustic, in upcoming videos in the future, we're going to have the grand piano option of the acoustic versus the hybrid. And there is a hybrid grand piano we're going to be presenting as soon as we can. And until then, we appreciate your viewership. I am Ted Barsalou.
I'm Daniel Voeller.
And this has been Alamo Piano Galleries, and we look forward to seeing you next time.